Here's how I eat over 180 grams of protein per day, which helps me stay lean. At around 7 o'clock I usually have breakfast, and right now I'm really into eating eggs again, and this is my go-to recipe right now. On a plate I crack in 2 whole eggs with 100 grams of pure egg whites for some extra protein and fewer calories. I add a pinch of salt and then a slurry made from a splash of water and cornstarch. Please give this a try when you make eggs. The cornstarch prevents them from becoming tough and dry, which is especially great when cooking with egg whites. Just add a quarter teaspoon of cornstarch into a splash of water, mix it, and then add it directly to the eggs before whisking. Next is the cheese. I'm using fresh fat-reduced mozzarella, 165 calories with 20 grams of protein, really good macros for a cheese. They come in single serving bags filled with water, so just cut it open, drain the liquid, place it on a plate and slice it thinly. I also like to add some peas for another bit extra protein. Frozen peas taste best in my opinion, but sometimes I go with canned peas too. About 100 grams go into a bowl. So add 2 slices of sandwich bread to a pan on medium heat. 1 slice of bread has 65 calories. I like to dry toast them for 1 to 2 minutes just to give them some color and crispiness that adds a bit more flavor. Once they're golden brown on both sides, remove them from the pan, then add 3 grams of butter and your peas. This step is only necessary if you are preparing frozen peas. The canned ones can be eaten straight from the can. However, stir-frying peas in a little bit of butter for a minute heats them up and gives them a nice flavor too. So remove the peas, add them to your plate, then add another 3 grams of butter to the pan and pour in your eggs. This part takes now about 1 minute maximum. Keep stirring from the very beginning. The eggs will cook super quickly here. Once they're cooked, immediately remove them from the heat and place them on top of the bread. Add some freshly cracked black pepper, and there is my current breakfast, 630 calories with 52 grams of protein. At around 12 I have lunch. Today it's an oven roasted chicken and potato bowl that I prepared the night before. I always start with the protein source, which in this case is skinless boneless chicken thighs. Since I don't have a lot of time to cook during lunch, I prepare 2 servings when I make dinner and then reheat the second one the next day for lunch. So for this recipe you need 400 grams of chicken thighs, which makes exactly 2 servings. Next are the vegetables. I'm using 400 grams of Brussels sprouts sliced in half, so 200 grams per serving. Alternatively, you can also chop up 2 red bell peppers, this works just as well, and then add 2 yellow onions, about 50 grams each. These act as the volume filler and make the portion size massive. For the carb source, I'm gonna use 600 grams of potatoes, so 300 grams per serving. Here's also a cool trick to stop potatoes from sticking to your knife. Instead of slicing the usual way, point the tip of the knife downward and pull the blade towards you, exactly like you see here. This works pretty much for all vegetables and nothing will stick to your knife ever again. So grab a baking dish and toss in everything you just chopped. Add 16 grams of olive oil, 2 teaspoons of dried rosemary, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of oregano, freshly cracked black pepper and a strong pinch of salt. Mix well until everything is coated and then pop it into a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius of 400 F for 30 to 45 minutes. Halfway through, take it out, give it a stir so it browns evenly, and once the potatoes are soft enough to pierce with a knife, it's ready. So prepare 1 bowl for dinner and a meal prep container for lunch the next day. I usually don't weigh it out, just add 2 thighs per serving and eyeball the vegetables. The meal prep container goes into the fridge, and optionally you can top it with a simple sauce made from light mayo and ketchup if you want. 1 serving comes in at 681 calories with 43 grams of protein. At around 3 p.m. I have my current favorite snack recipe. I call it the protein Snickers bowl. It starts with a 50-50 mix of 5% fat Greek yogurt and fat-free Greek yogurt. The 5% one tastes amazing but has almost double the calories from the fat-free, so I just combine them half and half. Alternatively, you can go with skyr if you want, which also comes in with flavored versions like vanilla. Skyr has quite great macros as well, and it was actually one of the most important foods when I lost over 50 pounds, and it helped me create a cookbook with over 250 recipes that has already helped more than 10,000 people lose weight and keep it off. You buy the book once and get all recipe updates for free. This book can seriously change your life. The link is in the description. So place a bowl on a scale and add 340 grams of Greek yogurt, followed up by 20 grams of peanut butter and 10 grams of honey for sweetness. Give it a good stir, and this is already incredibly delicious, but if you want the best experience, add some crunchy granola on top. I found one with chocolate chips in my grocery store, about 20 grams is enough, and finally top it with 15 grams of fat-reduced whipped cream. This will only add 30 extra calories, but I promise it turns any yogurt bowl into something truly special. The entire bowl comes in at 517 calories with 38 grams of protein. Finally, for dinner, I made a honey garlic chicken recipe, and once again I cooked 2 servings so I have lunch ready for the next day. Add 400 grams of chicken breast into a bowl. Sometimes I ask my butcher to slice it for me so I don't have to deal with it. The volume filler for this recipe is a vegetable called pak choi. If you've never had it, I highly recommend giving it a try. It's super low calorie and tastes really amazing. Just cut off the root and wash it quickly in the sink. Sometimes there's dirt left from the harvest. Chop up 2 pak choi weighing around 300 grams in total, 150 per serving. Then dice up 2 onions as well, 1 per serving. And finally 2 cloves of garlic. Remove the root and either grate it with a microplane or use a garlic press later in the recipe. The carb source for this one is rice. However, instead of cooking it myself, I often just use packaged rice. This is perfect since it's exactly 2 servings. For the sauce, place a glass on a scale and add 40 grams of soy sauce, 30 grams of honey, and instead of rice vinegar, I like to use 20 grams of balsamic vinegar cream. This gives a slightly different flavor that goes really well with soy sauce. And finally, add 1 gram of cornstarch and give it a mix. Again, this is for 2 servings. Now, heat 8 grams of oil in a pan on medium heat and add the chicken with a small pinch of salt and black pepper. Don't add too much salt here since the soy sauce is already quite salty. After about 90 seconds or so, check the underside. If it's golden brown, flip it, let it sear for another minute, then stir and remove from the pan. Add another 8 grams of oil, then the pak choi and the onions with another small pinch of salt. And don't worry if the pan looks crowded, the pak choi will shrink after a few minutes. Once everything is soft and the onions are slightly caramelized, create a little space in the middle of the pan, add a tiny touch of oil and fry the garlic in for about 20 seconds. Leaving the garlic in oil for a bit will develop a lot more flavor. Then give it a good stir, add the rice and optionally half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper for some heat. Then pour in the honey soy sauce, add the chicken back to bring it up to temperature, give it a final stir and remove from the heat. I will split the recipe again into 2 servings, half in a bowl and half in a meal prep container, and honestly, I think this is one of my best stir fries. I love this recipe. 1 serving comes in at 567 calories with 53 grams of protein, and the macros for the entire day were 2,400 calories with 186 grams of protein. Don't forget to check out my cookbook, and you can also join my live streams on Kick and Twitch. All links are in the description.